Hello, my fellow Bar None warriors. This is Chris, and of course, this is my channel, Bar None 11970. I want to first off, before I get into what I wanted to talk about in this particular video, I wanted to thank everybody that has been a loyal subscriber, that have been following me for a while, and all the new subscribers. For me to hit 20,000 subscribers is just mind-blowing, and I am so appreciative, especially for those who've been sticking around, because as you can see, I don't make the same amount of videos as I used to. Um, if you know about this type of topic that I talk about, or especially what I used to talk about, it is very stressful and it can take its toll on you. And I always promised I never would give up, which I haven't, but I am trying to limit it a little bit to focus on more positive nature and positive aspects. And I think that's the key thing that we all need to start to do in our lives, because although these kind of videos that I talk about the inspiration, the positive, the love, and things like that, are not going to be ever as popular as the, death and destruction around every corner, it's not going to take the same toll as those other videos do, because I've seen throughout the years how much it can stress you out, how much it can affect you physically, depress you. And when you're in those lower states of being, it grounds you in a bad way, and it keeps you from moving forward. And if you know anything between the difference of a river and a river tends to have much clearer water because it's always moving, while a lake or a pond tends to have a lot of gook because it's stagnant. And I find a lot of people, and I was doing that for a while, especially in the beginning of this channel, being very stagnant and focusing on negative, and it just weighs you down and depresses you. And I've noticed if people want to actually lose weight, now of course eating right and exercising are the two best things you can actually do, but also changing your mindset is going to be a huge factor in that, because we've all done it. When you're bored or when you're depressed, those are two times where you will just eat even when you're not really hungry, because it cures boredom and it keeps you from thinking about your depression. Because if you're feeling sad and then all of a sudden you decide to go out and buy yourself a chocolate cake, well, while you're eating that chocolate cake, that sugar is going to give you that little bit of a high, but ultimately we know that sugar is what's going to make you worse and gain the weight. And when you're depressed, it's going to just, your emotions make you not want to do anything. Time slows down, and it seems like days last forever. I mean, if you've ever heard the expression, time flies when you're having fun. Do you ever do something with your friends where, let's say, for example, you play video games, and you were online with your three of your best friends, and you played for hours, having a great time with what you were doing, to the point where you started out 12 o'clock in the afternoon, next thing you know, it's midnight, and you're like, where'd the time go? Do you notice that whole time you probably weren't hungry once? You probably didn't even stop to eat at all? Because when you are in a positive mode and you're filled with love and excitement and having fun, all of a sudden you don't have those same needs as when you're bored and depressed. So if you think about it, if you could get yourself to become more active, and more active in the way of doing things that bring you excitement and joy, you're actually going to be distracted to the point where you're not going to have maybe that extra Twinkie, or go out for that cookie, or the bag of potato chips and pretzels, or drink that extra beer, because it's just filling a void that will constantly need to be filled. So a lot of it becomes psychological, and we've all been there. I've been there. There have been times where I was absolutely bored, and I'm like, well, what do I do? Oh, I'll go make myself something to eat. I've seen that constantly. I mean, the tenant that I used to have was always depressed, had a handicap, wasn't able to be mobile, so it wasn't his choice. And his outlet was food, because it gave him something to do, and it filled that void. But it's a void that always needs to be filled. So yes, you absolutely have to exercise. You absolutely have to eat better, because if you have a choice between a candy bar and an apple, well, if you're picking the candy bar, is it no wonder why you're not as healthy? Now, there are people out there that say, well, I need that sugar rush. Well, you could replace the bad, harmful sugars, the bleached sugar they sell in the stores, for things like, for example, it's organic coconut palm sugar. Now, it has a caramel kind of taste to it, but if you put it in your bowl of cereal or sprinkle it in your coffee, you're really not going to notice the difference. And it's actually good for you. The same thing with salts. The white over-the-counter salt that you see, it's bleached. They extract anything that's beneficial from it. That's why when you get certain illnesses, they tell you, stay away from salty food. But if you buy things like organic pink Himalayan salt, it's actually good for you. So it's all about watching what you eat. It's also about feeling good about yourself and having fun. Get yourself to create an activity. That was one of the reasons why I started making the Oregon pyramids and I started making the organic soaps. It originated out of boredom and it became a decent business and I enjoy doing it and it passes the time. And that's also a reason why I have my other YouTube channel, because I have fun doing that. Now, I enjoy doing this. I like helping people. But considering some of the abuse I've had to deal with over the years, that doesn't exactly categorize as fun. So we have to kind of maneuver things. But I know there are people out there that still listen to me and appreciate what I do, and there's new people all the time. So I want to make sure that I still continue to pay it forward by sending a positive message. My other channel, Barnon11967, which I took down years ago, and the first couple years of this channel, a lot of it was about, oh my God, living in fear. And you get what you give. And we all have to learn that. And I think it's a process in life. I want you, just like me, to be that stream instead of being that pond, staying in the same place. And I think that's what was happening even in this channel. But through experience comes wisdom. That's why most of the younger generation is more focused on fashion and Hollywood and sports and, things that don't really matter as much, because we've all done that when we were younger. It wasn't until we were older that we started to understand, but we understood through experience. And that's why if you take a negative situation and take something positive from it, well, then there was a reason behind it. But sadly, most of us don't pay attention. So my videos now are not going to be the doom and gloom, are not going to be, you got to prepare for everything. You should know that by now. It's more of what you need to be, uplifted, to rise above, to be better than where you are. If you're not happy where you are, knowing it's always a choice. There are always exceptions to every rule. It's not easy for everybody. Trust me, my transitions in my life has not been easy. But it's what I put in. You get what you give. So instead of making excuses like we all used to do, and all may still do, like, oh, life is fair, and how come I don't get this, and why doesn't this happen, and why does this always happen to me? Well, what are you doing to change it? Sometimes, to create a journey, you have to make that first step. If you just sit on your couch and complain about life, and do you think life is going to do anything? Do you think life is just going to stop for you, or it's just going to pass you by? So be a part of it. Have fun. Enjoy your life. So if there's something in your life you're not happy about, yeah, you could watch videos that make you feel justified or anger you or say, yeah, see, I have something in common with that person. He's just as miserable as I am, or she's been through the same garbage as I have. And then wonder why you're not getting anywhere. Or you could have a choice and try and better your life. Now, you cannot control what other people do. I mean, I've tried to improve my life. I've done things to improve my life. But there are still people that try and bring me down. There are still people to this day who have, for the past 5 or 6 years, find pleasure in trying to hurt me. I feel sorry for those people because they're still where they are, angry and bitter, and find hurting others an amusing thing for them to do with their lives. Don't be one of those people. Or if you do, don't be surprised your life isn't going anywhere special if you're spending all your time hating on people or hating on yourself. One of the biggest things that changed my world was the fact that not only did I allow others' hatred to affect me, but at one point I started hating myself. And then I realized I can't control what other people do, but I damn well can control what I do. So if you're sitting here still listening to this, and you've been sad, or you've been depressed, or you are sad and depressed, We've all been that way. But what are you doing to get yourself out of that? Now, I mean, if you're bedridden with an illness and there's nothing you can do, and you're at that point in your life where there's just no, you just can't even get out of bed, well, unfortunately, you're the exception to the rule. But that doesn't mean you can't try and think of the brighter side of things. Because trust me, this is not coming from some millionaire playboy who has millions of dollars and is riding around in his yacht with 50 supermodels all around him, living the high life. I still struggle. But with my struggle comes inspiration, so maybe that's why I continue to have at least moments where I need to struggle, because it inspires me. You get what you give. So as much as I love the inspiration comes from sometimes having to suffer or go through challenges. So is it any wonder why those times of suffering or those times of challenge keep approaching me? You make the best that you can and you do the best that you can. And remember, everything is a choice. So if you want to watch hundreds of channels that talk about fear porn, that talk about death and destruction, talk about the hatred and the cruelty and the negativity, well, you're going to continually feed into that. You're going to believe in that. And you're going to be surrounded by that. But ultimately, in the end, it's a choice. So I don't want to make this an incredibly long video, so I wanted to thank each and every one of you for sticking around. For the new subscribers who want to hear what I have to say. Now, I may not be making 500 videos a year like maybe I once did, but I will pop in from time to time, and all of my videos are here for people to watch. So you have, especially if you're new, you have plenty of material to check out. And you'll see the transformation if you see the videos I did when I first started out to the videos I do now. They may not be as, sexy. They may not be as exciting. They may not be as grabbing and earth-shattering as some of the ones I've done in the past. But I've grown. And I've seen that you can change the world by changing yourself. And think of it, this is what I'm going to leave you guys with. Think of yourself looking in the mirror at yourself. No matter how much you yell at that reflection, no matter how much you try and threaten it, or even bribe it to smile, the only way you could get your reflection to smile is if you smile. Because then, your reflection has no choice. So think of that reflection as the outside world. You could try and bribe people, threaten people, scare people, beg life. Can change yourself, and the image outside will change. Not always easy, but how many things in life worth having are. So thank you once again. I really appreciate you guys and girls listening to what I have to say. If you're new, check out my playlist, watch my old videos. Come back from time to time. I will make videos. I don't know how often, but I will make them. And I hope you have a great day. And if any of my words help, then I'm glad I made them. And if it only helps one person, I'm still glad I made it. Thank you guys. Have a great day.